Hey my dudes, and welcome to Aftermath Devblog 14. It's been, I think, probably about a week and a half or 2 weeks since the last devblog, and it's not because we didn't patch or anything. I just haven't made a devblog. We've released a couple updates, basically hot fixes in between a patch, and then we have a new patch that you guys don't have yet, but I just want to cover that. So this is going to be not only the new notes that aren't deployed yet, they're about to come out probably tomorrow, maybe the next day, sometime this week, maybe the weekend. We'll see, but this is currently what's involved in it, as well as if you've only been watching my updates based on devblogs, this will catch you up through the other patches as well. I just condensed them into one giant patch note, and we're just going to go down it, and I'll talk about some of the stuff as we go. So this is devblog number 14, you guys. So for general updates, the trade chat now functions for all players on the server within the safe zone, making trading cross-map much easier, as well as coordinating group play. Using this channel to harass users will surely result in an account suspension. It's kind of a no-brainer. Basically, we're going to allow everyone to talk cross safe zone based on vicinity as long as you're within a safe zone. So it should help traders and things like that. Don't mind if you use it to group up, anything that's like, hey, having a good time. But if this channel is used for hate speech at all or harassment, etc., expect to lose your account over it. Like, obviously, be respectful of others that play the game, you guys. Come on, it's a no-brainer. Deployed barricades now properly last 45 minutes. There was a bug that was causing them to not despawn, and people stopped clearing them, so now it's just eating up memory and stuff like that, so we're just gonna have it fixed. It's fixed now. Backpack descriptions have been updated to reflect proper slots and carrying capacity. That's a no-brainer. Attachments now display the stats they affect in the item UI and the description, so I both wrote a description for all the attachments that indicates what stats it's affecting, like recoil and spread, as well as Green was able to fix it within the UI and make it appear, which is just overall that's a good quality change just for new players that don't know, what attachments to keep and whatnot. Players standing inside the safe zone can no longer accidentally turn aggressor by shooting out of the safe zone and hitting a non-aggressor. This basically is in the event that you see someone who's an aggressor that's lurking nearby and you shoot at him and he's being a cheeky fuck and he has his friend that's not flagged standing in front of him trying to get you flagged, and his other friend that's hanging out in the safe zones waiting to fucking blow your brains out as soon as you accidentally flag. So you can no longer accidentally flag yourself because of griefing members in the community. This is why we can't have nice things. So you can no longer flag from inside. You can just shoot bad guys, which will put another deterrent on safe zone camping. Maybe Pine Top will change, etc. But I want to discuss some other stuff with you guys as we go. Logging out with aggressor will cause you to resume being aggressor the next time you log in. This is kind of a fix that went hand in hand with the other one where people would shoot someone in the head and then Alt F4. So if you have an aggressor timer and you log out, you will come back and remain an aggressor properly. Attachment durability is working. Attachments were previously unlimited. This wasn't intended. This is causing this huge inflation of attachments. You might know friends who have like 100 grips and shit like that. It's because nothing was breaking. So military suppressor, durability will be adjusted accordingly, but right now all attachments have 500 durability, save the military suppressor with 1,000, and also I think one of the pistol silencers is like much lower because it's craftable. But you'll see why pistol silencers are handy soon. But unfortunately this is a change that has to come, otherwise attachments have no value and eventually they just become a commodity instead of rare and sought after, and it makes all fights like just silenced fights. Like, you're supposed to hear people shooting in the game. It's not supposed to be everybody with a silencer. Attachment spawns have been increased due to this change, so obviously I know that they're going to be disappearing faster, so you will find them more. Sprint was found to be causing food and water to decrease twice as fast as it should be. This has been fixed. Basically, it turned out it really fucking sucked right now if you were sprinting around, so we've normalized this. Of course, this could be rebalanced at another point, when we add skills to the game. Maybe there's some skills that relate to it. But for right now, we understand we took out camps in prep for some terrain changes, and it's kind of brutal on food and water right now. Deployed gardens now last 7 days real time. Deployed gardens had a bug where their timers would sometimes not tick, especially on private servers. This has been fixed. Submachine guns now use pistol muzzle attachments like a crafted silencer. This makes submachine guns as an offhand really good with the crafted silencers or pistol silencers that you find. Good for SMGs. Check out the MP5. If you don't want to use it because it sucks, I will buff it until you use it. Disassemble for backpacks has been added as a new way to acquire cloth and plastic. You get 2 cloth, 1 plastic. You'll see why this is handy because the crafted backpack costs cloth and plastic. Disassemble for attachments has been added as a new way to acquire parts when disassembling unused attachments. So as long as it's a pristine attachment, you get a part. It's a new way parts are entering the system. Optimizations to collections and general graphics settings. Some things have been taken off of the low setting and set to high. So it should basically optimize graphics for players on low. Of course, you don't have this patch yet, or depending on when you're watching this video, if you watch it within like a day or 2 of me putting it on YouTube, the patch is not deployed. But if this is a week later, it's there. So this, I basically just went and adjusted all the collection stuff and the billboard distances, the LOD distances, and kind of how it fades into each other. If it's an object that you can hide behind, it renders the full character render distance, 500. But if it's something like a frilly flower or something, it's now on high only. So we're not forcing that on low graphics. And of course, we're changing all our collections soon anyways. You'll see it. There's now a designated building at the airport where medical supplies spawn. Kind of sucked sometimes not having any meds there. So airport's now kind of like one-stop shop. There's food, there's meds, there's everything. It's a good PvP spot. Good solo place. G36 and M16 reload speed or reload audio has been reduced slightly. G36 firing audio has been reduced slightly. Both were just too loud. I added AK and Stanag 30 mags to the store for 100 GD because people want to swap out mags. This is live right now. The store updates automatically. It's one of the cool things. AK magazines it's got a new mesh now because the issue was it was dropping on the ground and the pivot of the item. So imagine the items like this. Well, the pivot was on the bottom, not the top. And so when it would sit on an object, the pivot would be under the ground, if you can see what I'm doing. And so because of it, your character couldn't get a ray cast down to the pivot to pick it up and prompt the E prompt, so you could never loot them. So we changed the mesh. So it's the same thing on the gun, but just the dropped mesh is now like, something more convenient to pick up. It's just an engine issue. It's pivot of objects. Don't worry about it. Crafting updates. New blueprint is now spawning for a crafted gardening backpack that has the same number of slots as a traveler's backpack, but can carry 100 kilos. It's great for looting and carrying ungodly amounts of ammunition in PvP camp fests on roofs. Crafted today. New blueprint is now spawning with crafted shepherd's pie, one of my favorites from back in the day. Utilizes all the foods that are produced by gardens. It consumes and heals for 50 health. And it gives you 100 hunger, so never worry about your hunger. As long as you, fill up a couple bottles in the safe zone, you shouldn't have to worry about food and water PvPing. Assuming you're a diligent gardener. Make sure you know how to garden. Garden crafting requirements have been standardized for all producing deployables, including the animal trap. Sleeping bag crafting material tweaks make it more viable. Deployed tent shack for the sleeping bag has undergone crafting material tweaks to make it more viable. So basically I want players using the sleeping bag and the deployed tent shack more. So I've made it more convenient to craft. Hopefully it's not too expensive. If you still think it's too expensive, I will make it less expensive. Because this is viable gameplay that we're not using right now. So really I want to see people using gardens, clans coming together to use gardens and create shepherd's pies, and this is obviously the ideal PvP med. 50 health on a 5-second. So you can go loot meds in the game, etc., or you can set up your gardens, loot meds, all that. Whatever you want to do, the vendor will also take all this crap. So, farm GD with it. We have a sweet in-game economy going now because, you can't inject cash into it. Gotta play legit. It's fun times. NVG armor craft recipe has been updated. It now requires the NVG plate instead of armor 3. Back when this recipe was created, NVG plate didn't exist. So now it requires an NVG plate for an armor 3, more of a stepping stone. Yeah. Forge armor 2 and 3 have been updated to be more reasonable to upgrade your lower tier armors. So basically what this is right here is I want you to pick up every armor 1 and armor 2 and forge them up into armor 3. Like, it should be like gems in Diablo where you don't waste loot. Everything in the game should be vacuumed up. I'm trying to give you use for everything. Like, people didn't want to use plastic. So guess what? Some of the new recipes that you really want to use require plastic. So, I mean, obviously we're trying to, get the economy balance right so that, when we do, have everything situated, there's a lot of gameplay, a lot of things to do in the game. So let's move on. This was the hot fix from the 19th, so this was actually 8 days ago, and we're going to move just back through the last patch. But this is what's coming soon, and then there's some map updates that maybe I'll show in another video, but it's just a couple screenshots. Check it out on the forums yourself. But that's what's changing in the map. All the terrain, all the looks. It's going to be like, trees up north and desert south and some sand flats and varying biomes now. If you don't know what biome means, it's Google it. And so the map will have some sweet biomes now. It's all about the biomes in the zombie apocalypse. The hotfix for 619, Liberations no longer drop tier 3 weapons. Tier 3 weapons were a 1 in 7 and tier 4 were a 1 in 11, so I deleted tier 3 from the table because the patch down here introduced a ton of new guns. We finally have a nice fluffy tier 4 table and a nice fluffy tier 3 table. So 1, 2, 3, drop anywhere in the game. Tier 3, 4, drop point of interest. Tier 4, guaranteed drops in any Liberation 1 in 7. It's 1 in 7, so... Anytime you open a box of 5 items, you get to roll 1 in 7 5 times. So a 30 drop Liberation, like Stafford, you get 30 rolls, 1 in 7. It's probably 4 in 28. You're probably gonna get some tier 4 guns, handy. Okay, moving on. Rifles and SMGs are less squirrely. If you didn't play recently, you didn't even know what happened. SMGs got buffed slightly. The Kingslayer rate of fire was returned. M4 audio volume got reduced slightly. Fixes to the AK magazines that didn't turn out to work, but fear not, they were fixed up here. Reload is no longer interrupted by using medical supplies or placing barricades, so you can be mid-reload and pop a med, no problem, doesn't interrupt anymore. Seeds spawn again on farms and civilian homes, but not to be confused with the field spawns. The field spawns were removed because they were spawning inside of item boxes, and that's now representative of a point of interest spawn, which is no longer, in the fields. So it really means farms as in farmhouses and barns and things like that, and civilian homes. So you need seed packets to go with gardening now. Gardens are very useful. Makes you lots of nice foods and things like that. VoIP disconnect on US servers were fixed. We deployed a small hotfix to address some stutter bugs that were introduced in the patch. There's also a bug related to organizing, so make sure you press organize if you notice things are missing. We introduced some new invisible slots for some gameplay objects that will be introduced to you later on. Pinetop got updated. The really campy edge PvP was removed. There's no more quick style banking. Basically there was a lot of exploitative gameplay, so now there's one centralized safe zone that's inaccessible. You have to die to get to it, and you can deploy from anywhere up there on the map into one of 4 quadrants. And we're considering making a way to go back to it at like a helicopter that will appear that you can go jump on and back to the safe zone. But either way, Pinetop is our experimental Call of Duty map. It's not meant to go in there and loot. There is some loot on the map, but there's no point of interest spawns. There's only one Liberation. It's the central city. And it's literally meant to just be pure like PvP where the map is small and it's condensed. I mean, imagine when the game is on Steam and we only have 1 or 2 Pinetop servers, it will be a war zone 24/7. Like, that's what this map is for. It's not meant for any type of deep gameplay. This is a kiddie pond. We're never going to put quests on this map. We're never going to... It's a war zone map, and that's the way it's supposed to be. So, it's not there to replace the Arizona map. Arizona map, aka Southwest, is like, that's our bread and butter, that's our cool map. And Pinetop is like the war zone map for... Imagine it like, if you were to compare it to War Z, it's Clearview. Pinetop is our Clearview. It's a whole map dedicated just to PvP. You load in, go in the war zone, you die, whatever. Fun times. That covers Pinetop. Improved the load times as well. Removed some areas. Less objects. Some gun normalization balance, blah, blah, minor crafting recipe balance updates. These were overwritten by the new updates, so you can ignore them. Spawn locations have been moved to promote safer spawns for newer players. Basically, the new player spawn zones are in certain areas of the map now, less away from clan stuff. We removed the bullet cap for legendary users, so legendary players, you can have unlimited bullets, knock yourself out. A few scopes received texture updates, a few icon updates, general ongoing optimizations to the map, audio updates, existing audio. The headshot sound was changed, and there's a new barricade deploy sound. We fixed crashes related to the Russian language file with group invites. That was fucked. You could crash. Sorry about that, my Ruski buddies. Material inclusion fixes, animation fixes. Server browser was not properly displaying the loot rates for veteran servers, which was slightly increased, if you remember. Is my camera having trouble tracking? I just noticed. Maybe my video's fucked. Whatever. We do it in one take over here in the Artemis Knives show. Okay, none of this clipping together clips in YouTube. All right, moving on. Fixed the 30 magazine detachment. It didn't work. That's why it's in the vendor now. A bug related to jump shotting is fixed. Only moderately reliable jump shot is now the shotgun, as it should be. You get a huge spread penalty if you jump now, so try it. The bullet's got to go somewhere, so you might hit someone sometime, but obviously only shotguns are really useful for it. If you haven't played lately, the vendor's been updated now, and we now have a use for GD in the game, so these are all the GD prices. I trust you can press pause on my stream and don't need me to read it to you. You can just press pause on the YouTube video and there it is, but there's use for GD now, so feel free to turn your GD in at the vendor, and the vendor will, of course, buy everything from you too. Moving on, all sorts of new guns. There's even a gun that's not listed here that glows in the dark. It's the Rampage. No, it's the Vindicator. I lied. One take, guys. It's the Vindicator. This is the Rampage. The Vindicator's not shown. New M4. Look, it's the Murica M4, just in time for July 4th. New G36. The red one is beast as fuck. There's a theme here. The bottom gun is probably pretty scary. Emerald Dream, Rampage, pretty scary guns. This thing, scary. This thing, scary, scary. This goes with our Rainbow Unicorn set, which was just recently introduced. And if you remember from back in the day, this here is the VSS, and yeah, it's pretty cool. So it's in the game now, and obviously the red and black one is dangerous as fuck. It's pretty rare though, so it's trade value item. Anti-cheat updates, ongoing process. What can you do? Decided to post a white alligator. And community devs and prior patch notes. So that does it, friends. So I'm glad you tuned in for Devblog 14, and I hope you recommend Aftermath to your friends. And hopefully soon we're gonna have, you know, building and quests and talent trees and a super zombie and more guns and shit, and new trees and terrain changes and updates to the colors and the lighting and shadows. And Aftermath has so much cool potential, but it just takes time. So, you know, appreciate you guys supporting the game, buying skins, inviting your friends to play, all that, you know. But you must remember, it is an indie project with me and some friends. We all dedicate our free time to it, and we don't have unlimited free time, so we try to do our best with what we have as 3 guys and then some guys from the community that are helping. But sometimes some of you are unreasonably demanding and you don't understand how difficult it is to fix some things and how long things take. So I know you want everything in the world, and I'm happy to try and give it to you. Just, you gotta realize it takes time. So if you're ever confused about how far Aftermath has come, and you start wearing rose-tinted glasses and drinking the Kool-Aid that some people pass around, we fixed like so many major bugs and economy holes, and now it's just a legit game. So we're trying to add more and more to it. Obviously, you know, just looting and shooting is not enough for a game these days. It was 5 years ago, but guess what? There's lots of competitors now. So you know, we intend to go down the whole MMO route and add some dope questing and you know, do reputation stuff, you know, and maybe even address kill on sight someday, and maybe have different zones that, you know, I don't know, we have some really interesting ideas. So I think it's going to be a lot of fun. It's not just all about wham bam thank you ma'am PvP, you know. The game needs some depth. There needs to be a reason to be a civilian or a lawman or a bandit, and there needs to be, you know, a reason to go and sell illegal drugs in a certain area of the game and maybe get arrested. I mean, I really like a lot of Arma Life mod stuff. I like a lot of World of Warcraft stuff. I like a lot of stuff from Quake and Doom. What if we put it all in the game and just make it a really badass open world, just fucking no holds barred, where you could lose everything, but there's also rules. So, and a dope economy. So tell your friends, Aftermath. We'll come up with a better name at some point. For now, whatever. See you guys next video, or see you guys in game. Peace. Oh yeah, and don't forget to thumbs up, thumbs down, whatever. It just increases my SEO. So thumbs up, thumbs down, don't give a fuck. It's an interaction. See ya.